This Jacksonville, Florida UFO footage, which was officially released by Secure Team on a video we posted on July 18th, is to this day one of the most controversial UFO sightings we've seen or posted. Next to the recent Texas Cube footage that we published, these sightings are ramping up. And since our original posting of the unstabilized version of this footage here in Jacksonville, showing this craft, to what's even more interesting, and which we didn't mention in the first video, is that this craft looks mysteriously similar to the so-called Black Knight satellite, which is also believed to have been caught in a set of 1998 NASA images. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Black Knight satellite is believed to be an artificial alien object or satellite that has been orbiting the Earth since the 50s, or at least it was first discovered in the 50s. It's believed to be around 13,000 years old and is of an extraterrestrial origin, and it's orbiting us right now in near polar Earth orbit. In 1954, when newspapers including the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the San Francisco Examiner ran stories attributed to retired naval aviation major and UFO researcher Donald Kehoe, saying that the U.S. Air Force had reported that 2 satellites orbiting Earth had been detected. The problem is that at this time, no one had the technology to launch a satellite. In February 1960, there was a further claim by Time that the U.S. Navy had detected a dark object orbiting Earth that they had first thought was a Soviet spy satellite in orbit, inclined at 79 degrees from the equator with an orbital period of 104.5 minutes. Its orbit was also highly eccentric, with an apogee of 1,728 kilometers and a perigee of only 216 kilometers. Not only that, but in tracking the object, it was noted that this satellite would change its orbit from day to day, as if to be under intelligent control.
Ik wacht op die
This thing was
vrouw.
moving in
Die heeft mij
space
even
and
nog
changing its
gebeld.
course while it orbited Earth, to the
En als
point
het
that
goed
they
is kunnen we
couldn't
er
track
omhoog
it
heen.
or its next move. They didn't know what this thing was, and they still don't, and the government has been fast to try to cover it up.
Deze is niet in Arnhem, deze
an
is
object was
Zevenaar.
photographed from NASA images from the
Het
STS-88
is maar 80
mission,
vierkante
which has
meter.
been widely known and seen as one
Wij
of the
hebben
best
geen,
pieces
ik
of
zeg heel eerlijk, ik
photographic
heb geen
UFO
lijntafel
evidence
en ik
that
heb
we have
geen
depicting the Black
lijnmachine.
Knight
Dus we
in
moeten
all
het
of its
op de
wonder and
ouderwetse
mystery.
manier doen.
According to the NASA
eigenlijk.
trolls, who I guess truly believe that we are as stupid
Bang.
as they think, claim that what you're seeing here in this NASA image from the ST-88 mission, which
Oh,
by
heeft
the way
Thomas
is
die
an
heeft Thomas die
obvious, hard,
lijntafel nog?
structured craft with detailed characteristics, is probably, and I quote, a thermal blanket
Als je
that
het
was
aan hem kan
confirmed
vragen.
lost during
Ja,
the
doe maar eens
EVA.
even kijken.
So, real
Ik zou
quick
eigenlijk-
before we
ik zou-
continue, here is a list of some facts and info about the Black Knight satellite that will bring you up to speed
Ja,
on
dat
the
maakt niet
entire deal
zoveel.
and help you in your own research.
Als
According
goed
to
is,
monitoring
als goed is
agencies
hebben we
around the
morgen een
world,
auto,
the
die van
Black
mijn
Knight
zusje.
satellite has been transmitting radio signals for over
En
50
als,
years
je
now.
moet even
The
kijken of
USA
ik een
and
andere
Soviet
trap...
Union have shown particular interest in
Trapje
this
kan fixen.
unidentified space object. Rumors are that it was Nikolai Tesla, the first man to intercept
Ja,
the
dan is het
signal
goed. De
from
rest,
the
de
Black
rest,
Knight
de rest
satellite
kan
in
allemaal met de hand gedaan
1899
worden. Dat is
after
helemaal geen
building a
probleem.
high-voltage
Duurt
radio
misschien wat
device in
langer,
Colorado Springs.
maar dan hebben we
Since the
wel eind van...
1930s, astronomers
we moeten ook
worldwide
sausen,
have been
dus
reporting
de dag
strange
daarna
radio
moeten we ook
signals
terugkomen om te
which
sausen.
allegedly come from
Dus
the
daar
Black
hebben we ook
Knight.
gelijk de dag
In
daarna gehad.
1957,
Misschien
an
dezelfde eerste
unknown
dag al.
object
Dus
was
ik heb al
seen
tegen
shattering
gevraagd.
the Sputnik 1 spacecraft. According to reports, the unidentified object was in polar orbit.
Ja.
But in 1957, the United States nor the Russians possessed the technology
Ja,
to maintain a
dat zou mooi
spacecraft
zijn.
in polar
Dan
orbit,
hebben wij...
with the first polar orbiting satellite being launched in 1960. Polar orbits are often used for Earth mapping
Wat
Earth
ga je doen?
observation, capturing the Earth as time passes from one point, and reconnaissance satellites. This would put the Black Knight in a category of an observational satellite. In the 1960s, the Black Knight satellite was located once again in polar orbit.
Ik ben nou toevallig
Astronomers and scientists
weer
calculated
aan
the
live
object's
uitzenden,
weight
maar
to be
gewoon
over 10 tons,
gewoon programma's
which would be at the
uitzenden,
time
dus ik had
the
het
heaviest
vandaag
artificial
aanstaan.
satellite in orbit around our
Ja,
planet.
ik wilde hem
Not
net
only
al naar je
that,
sturen,
the
maar je
Black
belde
Knight's
me
orbit
net.
was
Maar ik heb
unlike
hem nou op
any
mijn,
other
ik heb
object
op mijn
orbiting
Facebook
Earth.
staan.
The Grumman Aircraft
Staat-ie.
Corporation gave much importance to this mysterious satellite. On September
Oh, okay.
3rd, 1960,
Ja, is goed.
7 months after the satellite was first
Waar
detected
moet je
by
die
radar,
ophalen?
a tracking camera by Grumman Aircraft Corporation's Long Island factory took a photograph of the Black Knight satellite. The Grumman Aircraft Corporation formed a committee to
Serieus?
study the data
Laat
they
de camping
received from the
zeker.
observations made, but nothing was made public.
Ja, dat is
In
wel chill.
1963,
Ik heb dat al
Gordon
vaker
Cooper
gehoord dat
was
mensen dat
launched
doen,
into
ja.
space. On his final orbit, he reported seeing a glowing green object in
Ja,
front
maar
of his
kan je
capsule
dat niet
in the
daar
distance
aanschaffen?
moving towards his spacecraft. A ham radio operator who apparently decoded a series of signals received from the UFO satellite interpreted it
Ja.
as a star chart centered
Ja,
in
ja,
the
ja, ja,
Epsilon
ja.
star system. According
dus-
to the decoded message, the Black
En
Knight
een boot.
originated
En een
from
boot
this
moet je
very
hebben,
star
ja.
system 13,000 years ago.
Ja.
The striking resemblance
Dus
of the Black Knight to the craft that was
ja,
reported
eigenlijk wel
over
straks
Jacksonville,
lang, ja,
Florida,
later, maar.
begs the question,
Maar
But there's a real
het is
possibility
wel een
that
strak
the
plan,
Black
hè?
Knight satellite is
Om op
not only
Blauwpunt te gaan
real,
wonen.
but that it also has the capability of coming out of its Earth orbit to visit us down here on the
Dat is geen
surface for an
probleem.
unknown
Toevallig zag ik
purpose.
de...
A fan of ours
Ja.
was kind enough to send us in a stabilized set of videos of the Jacksonville UFO, showing this thing maneuver without the camera
Ja?
shake.
Ja,
And
maar
we
dat,
were
dat staat
and are
sowieso op mijn
astounded by what we
bucketlist, hè,
saw
aan
and
boord.
what you are seeing now throughout this video. The way this craft moves and its mysterious resemblance to the Black Knight leads us to believe that what we've caught here is of a much bigger significance than we can ever
morgen
imagine.
is,
So at this point,
ik
I
ga
would
die
ask
vrouw
all of you to
vanavond
share
zometeen
the
nog een bericht
stabilized
sturen
footage
hoe het gaat,
of
want
what
ze
is
was
quite
behang van de
possibly
muur aan het
the Black
aftrekken.
Knight satellite.
Ze stuurde me
And
al een
let's get
filmpje
people
van
talking again about this
dat
story
de
because
tweede
it
laag
very well
behang
may
ging er
be
niet
one
af,
of
dus
the
ik
best
zei je moet
sightings we
water
have
gebruiken,
in the
weet je.
search for
Maar
truth.
ja, ze heeft nog
And
niet
if
gereageerd,
true,
dus
will
ze
be
was nog
extremely
bezig.
damaging to the government's
Dus
cover-up
ja.
and their hope that we would all forget about this story.
Ja, ik
So
zei
get it
het
out
ook
there,
al, het is geen
subscribe, and
probleem,
stick
je kan
with
het ook
us,
gewoon laten
and we'll
staan,
see
dan
you back real
doe ik
soon.
het gewoon zelf wel
Stay
de rest,
safe,
weet je wel.
guys.
Maar ze zei van, ja, ik ga kijken wat, ze had ook een stoomapparaat, maar ik weet zeker, dat is echt een kutklus, jongen. Dat is echt een kutklus. Maar ja, hè? Dat komt allemaal wel goed. We hebben sowieso een klus deze week. Sowieso geld aan het eind van de week. Wat al heel belangrijk is. Want ik had eigenlijk... ja.
Heb je het alweer opgemaakt? Nee. Vanochtend werd ik, zeg maar, hier zet je die pakken weer dicht, weet je wel. Als je die kaart moet gebruiken. Dus je hebt een puntje vuils naast het ding.
Ja.
Vanochtend werd ik weer gemaakt door die vliegende apen, oftewel gaaien. Die zijn dan allemaal met z'n allen zijn ze daar gewoon, ze kunnen die vuilzak niet opkrijgen, maar ze zitten daar met z'n allen.
Ja.
Oklahoma, this is the rawness and realness that is news now, and you see that funnel in the background there continuing to.
Oh my god, look at the breeze! Gewoon in een steentje rollen of zo.
Ja.
Op een gegeven moment is gewoon. Maar hij kat ze net iets af. Aan de ene kant was ik wel blij. Ik wil zo'n beest ook niet raken. Maar...
Steady. It just hit.
Ging die kraai tegen mij schreeuwen, kerel?
Ja?
Zo, oh, is...
I'm not crazy.
Ja, echt? Je hadden moeten filmen,
That's the
man.
first thing I want to say is that I'm not crazy.
Ja. Ja.
Rock and roll still lives. It exists strong in our veins. My whole motto right now is like I'm right here, but I'm trying to be right here. And the only way that you can do that is if you triple deluxe.
Ja, nee, ja, komt goed. Komt goed. Dus, ja.
Okay, you have to
helemaal
triple
goed.
deluxe in order to ascend.
Ik spreek jou vanavond op, hè? Ik bel je vanavond op.
So that's the thing I've been focusing on the most of my life right
Yo.
now. Is how do I fractionalize this? Deluxe it. Flip flop.
Ja,
Flip flop.
laat ik je
Flip flop.
weten.
Flip flop. It's like a ladder, a horizontal
Yo.
ladder. It's like monkey bars. Show because stole the one you stole the wish scared the stone that is the Pushing for this, so zombie again, niggas found no up skull under the button. This skull is gonna hide me, little boss, not even what. So I'll become with not even what. So I'll become get her. I want to zero hot. I look at the best.
13,000 years old and is of an extraterrestrial origin and is orbiting us right now in near polar Earth orbit. In 1954, when newspapers including the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the San Francisco Examiner ran stories attributed to retired naval aviation major and UFO researcher Donald Keough, saying that the U.S. Air Force had reported that 2 satellites orbiting Earth had been detected. The problem is that at this time, we only had the technology to launch a satellite. In February 1960,
All right. So let's just say, okay, deep fake videos. Have you ever heard of deep fake videos? I bet you haven't. Or you have. But there's new things going on in this world, folks, and one of them is this Joe Rogan video of his voice. It's already 1 million hits, and it was released by Real Talk Andessa, a channel with 1,000 subscribers. So you can see the amount of interest in deep fake videos by everyone. Let's check this out.
I've never told this story before, but on Thanksgiving weekend, I was doing a set at the Comedy Store, and some idiot ran up on stage. He comes up to me during the middle of my set and tells me that we are in a simulation.
Okay, so you got a video with his voice, and you can't identify if it's robotic or not. It seems like as if he's reading from a script. It's not a Joe Rogan podcast, right? So they're getting there. Slowly, they're getting there. This is way better than some of the Obama deep fake voices I have heard before. Let's take a look. I don't know if you know this, but they can now fake your voice. They can fake your face and expressions with database.
Entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
Okay, so you can actually realize, if you listen to it a couple of times.
Ja, dankjewel man. Ja,
We're
goed.
entering an
Ja.
era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
So, you know, it's
Gaat ie
not
goed?
Obama. You can
Gaat
actually
ie goed?
notice that lips are synced.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone
Yeah.
is saying anything at any point.
The lips are synced. There's no edit,
Yeah.
no cut. But still, it looks weird, doesn't it? But this Joe Rogan
Ja,
is
dat is
really
goed.
much harder to identify.
Nee, ik weet het.
And there's this theory in Reddit, it's getting attention. Deepfake videos are now being released
Ik ga
at
nou een
fast
film
pace
sturen, dan zou hij
because
daarop
an extremely
reageren en waarschijnlijk
controversial
komt
and
hij
disturbing but real
morgen,
video of a
donderdag komt hij
high-stature
die
figure
apparaat ophalen.
is going to be released soon. And they're going to claim the video as a fake.
60? Deze is voor 120 euro. Nee, die horloge is 60 euro. Ik zei gisteren tegen Henna te 36 euro, maar die horloge kostte mij al 30 euro.
It
Dus
has
ja,
a lot of positive karma
ik kan er geen 6 euro winst erop maken.
You know,
Dus het is
this
voor mij
is
handig
very
om
interesting
dan te
because
zeggen
when I
van,
read this,
die
I
horloge
was
is
like,
60
this was
euro.
done before in Brazil.
Deze kost 60 euro om aan te
So when I
schaffen.
watched this video over here,
Maar ik ga hem verkopen voor
I was
120
intrigued
euro.
because this actually happened in Brazil at the same time. Let's check this out.
No, and I think
Yeah?
some people are missing something here. The president has put in place
Goed.
an organization that contains the kind of
Ja, nou,
database
hartstikke bedankt,
that
man.
no
Dan ga ik
one
die
has
jongen nou
ever
een bericht
seen
sturen.
before in life. That's going to be very, very powerful, and
In
whoever
terms of the organizing force.
So this is a really big database that was organized in 2013 at the same time
Was die,
Brazil was
jongen
doing this
geweest?
thing. They released the government could access our emails. I don't know if you remember, this is the same time when you started seeing
Oh ja,
beer
ja.
and your
Zal ik
phone
wel.
was listening to you and beer ads started popping
Ja.
up in your Facebook when people started
Is goed,
realizing
man.
that they were being
Doei.
surveilled by their phones and such.
Okay, so this phone is my wife's, and we think Facebook is listening to us and taking keywords from our conversations and then putting in suggested ads. Alright, so all day we are going to be talking about cat food. So I guess Facebook does listen. Oh, by the way, this came in 2 days later, I think.
So this big database that they have is of us, is of what we say, what
Man,
we do,
blijft
the
stil
pictures
zijn.
that we upload, the videos that we upload, and everything else. So they have this really big database. So what can they do with this? Well, they can create deep fake videos. They can create very well arranged deep fake videos. And the problem with this is that we have a lot of people interested in the subject. Take a look at this. We have a deep fake guide with 235,000 views. Imagine how many other guides and millions of views we have on this. So there's a lot of people interested in how you can do a deepfake video. The requirements are a modern computer with 8 gigabytes of RAM and a Windows 10. So you don't need a to start doing fake videos, right? Deep fake videos. And this application here called Fake App, it gets a database, right? You just need a database of pictures and videos. You gotta have a database. Okay, this is where this huge database here comes in.
The president has put in place an organization that contains the kind of database that no one has ever seen before in life.
Okay, so you have that. What is Facebook? What is Instagram? Guys, wake up. So this tutorial, it works. Let's see the result, right? So it explains how you can do it. The computer is gonna train the database, and then it's gonna create the video out of the pictures that you put, that you gather in the database. So this is Spider-Man with the other Spider-Man's face. Okay, this is really good, but at the same time, it's still not perfect. You can actually see that it's fake. Okay, now you have, of course, other deep fake videos which you cannot differentiate from the real one. Take a look.
Yeah, I was just really surprised.
I didn't do any after touching on that video. I was just using the technology that was available from the machine learning.
Okay, so you understand that he didn't use, so this is something that he just needs an application. He just needs a technology that is already available and pictures of people, which is all available online. So this is how they made this scene from this movie. I was always wondering and asking myself, how the heck did they put Forrest Gump and John F. Kennedy? And this is it, folks. Deep fake videos. They've been doing this for quite a long time, but now it's becoming something bigger, and it's becoming an excuse, as this person said. And this case over here, there's this, oh my gosh, I'm sorry for the pictures over there. But anyways, there's this case over here, okay, of this Brazilian mayor, and there was a video that came out, and this is the video, all right? And this video came out, and he's actually in this video, and you can see his face. And he was just about to win the election, I think he did. And, well, anyways, they try to release this video in a way that he would look bad. So, right immediately after the video was released, he claimed that it was a deepfake video. A couple of weeks after, a report came out saying the video was actually real. And this actually confirms this guy's theory over here that deepfake videos are being released at a fast pace because something controversial and disturbing and real could actually come out there, surface out there.
Because it's so crazy. Like, people always have this conspiracy. Now that I'm famous, and people be saying like, "Oh, you're in the Illuminati." Look,
you saw your videos, right? You have videos online, like Cardi B,
YouTube, and it's like, bro, do you know that if I don't work, I could go broke?
Illuminati. She stopped what she's doing to post an album, yo. Like,
do you believe on that?
I don't, but there is a secret society. Talk to your label. Your label's here. What do you think they still got a job?
Do you know if I do or say the wrong thing out of my mouth?
You're out of here.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. So this is really big. This is really interesting. There's another thing that I wanted to talk about. This is really intriguing. The military made a robot that can eat organisms for fuel. When I saw this, I thought immediately of that TV series, The Colony.
Los Angeles will become a test case for a new way forward,
where aliens invade and they make a colony out of us, and most of the people are trapped in different districts. And, well, I was thinking that if they do this, it's going to be really scary. And I've known for a couple of years now that fuel is probably a hoax.
That petroleum wasn't what we thought it was, that it wasn't a fossil fuel, that it didn't come from fossil animals.
Yeah.
Is it just a mineral? Is it a mineral like any other mineral? Is that how it, what would you say? How did it, what's the origin of it?
You see,
When they first found petroleum, because they were beginning to make motors and needed on axles or wheels on railroad trains and all that sort of thing, and remember trains started in the beginning of the 19th century, then oil went from just a lubricant to a fuel, and it made it valuable. And Rockefeller happened to be the smartest man in the business at the time, but he made most of his money, or much of it, off the transport of the petroleum as well as selling it. But one thing they realized was, because oil is putting a price on oil is like putting a price on a pail of water. You know, there's no initial cost. It's in the ground, and in those days they were, some of it almost what you'd call surface mining the oil. They didn't go down deep. So in order to get the price up, they hit on the idea that they would have to make it appear to be scarce. Boy, after we take the next few barrels out, we're probably going to have to close as well, you know, that kind of thing. Well, a very fortuitous event. In 1892, there was a convention in Geneva of scientists to determine what organic substances are. Well, the definition of organic is a substance with hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. And so it's usually a living substance, a tree. You analyze a dead tree, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, and grass and so on, living things. Animals, we are hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon.
You know, if you put 1 + 1 here, you can actually figure out that maybe fuel was always a hoax. You know, fossil fuel is what I'm talking about. Yeah, map from the 1500s, from Urbano Monti, an Italian guy. I think the date is 1587 officially, and this is the biggest map ever. If you were to print this map, it would be bigger than my living room, so it's a really big map. And what happens here is that it depicts Antarctica without being frozen, and you can see that there are divisions that break into these entrances, very similar to the maps that we have here, right? Very similar to these maps over here, we have these entrances. Anyways, so we have an unfrozen Antarctica and an unfrozen North Pole. This is really intriguing, folks, because we have here what is depicted on many scriptures to be the four rivers, the four rivers of water that flow into our paradise. This is everywhere. I don't know, this is intriguing because you can see in other maps from Mercator that the North Pole wasn't frozen. It had four rivers, four entrances. Really weird. Really weird. There's also an island here called Brazil that is not depicted in Google Earth. Again, so if you check Google Earth, North Pole is frozen, and you do not have the four entrances in North Pole. I believe that the North Pole nowadays is not frozen anymore on Google Earth, so you can check it out. But there are not. Where are these islands, right? What about these islands over here? Where are the entrances? You tell me, but why are they hiding this land, this piece of land, right? It's clearly, look at this. This is clearly noted. There are notes. They have been here. Why is it not in Google Earth? And Brazil, an island just next to Ireland that is not on Google Earth anymore, and it's, well, quite big. It's here. It's in ancient maps also. So if you look at ancient depictions of the Earth, this island, Brazil, can be found. There's another thing that's really intriguing and a bit upsetting in the term that if you look at the fact that they've been hiding this for all this time, right? You go to the Nevada Museum and you ask for the red hair giants. Keep it out of the museum. They don't keep it in the museum display. I don't know why. So you have this region of the giants. Okay, this giants region here, the Regione Gigante in Brazil. So this is very intriguing because it's very close to Argentina, I guess, and Chile, where Chile is supposed to be. So this is weird, right? What happened here that we don't have these giants anymore? And again, we have I don't know, a genetically modified monkey? I don't know, you have a monkey with a human face here. And just above that, on the Pacific Ocean, you have a bird carrying an elephant. I don't think this guy was joking around, folks. This map is too well drawn. It's too meticulous. There are other islands that show up on this map that are not on Google Earth. And one of the most intriguing things before I go is that you don't have Australia here. I don't want to go into that conspiracy because I have friends that live in Australia, but there is no Australia here. Where is it? At first I thought maybe it's this place over here, right? And then I came here and I saw these bunch of reptilians, mermaid looking like creatures, and I was like, okay, maybe this is Australia. This white piece of land over here, full of mysteries and dragons and such, maybe this is Australia. Or what became to be Australia in the future and future maps and such, but still, where Australia was supposed to be, we have a bunch of mermaids or reptilians here, and there's no Australia. So, yeah. Again, it depicts these entrances that Admiral Byrd talked about when going to Antarctica, right? He said that he found these other continents the size of the United States of America, full of resources and such. And there's a spiral also just above Norway. I remember back in 2009, something similar to what this is drawn here happened. No one knows exactly till today what it was. They say, of course, it was a rocket launch that failed, but you tell me. I'll see you again.
Hey, what is up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. A little bit of a change to today's video intro. Not so much a change, but a 3D visualization of what the intro would look like. And that was created by a fan of the channel who sent this in after creating this three-dimensional visualization of my normal intro, and I told him I'd have no problem featuring it as the intro on today's video, just to see what you guys thought, and just to show it off, because I really did think it was a cool thing to do for the channel. Really cool intro. So big thanks to the viewer who sent that in. For now, after this video, we're going to go back to the original intro video. But hey, if you guys liked this one more, tell me down below and we'll start using this one. Whatever gives you guys the most pleasant experience, alright? Now, before we get further, because I want to show you some really interesting UFO and alien-related news today and footage. That's what we love best here on Secure Team. But I do just want to say kudos to all of you guys who came and watched my last video, and there was just such a wonderful outpouring of interest as it surrounds this new documentary and this interview that I'm going to be doing this weekend with Mr. Russell Targ, who, if you didn't watch that last video, this guy basically operated a Stanford University experiment back in the day using psychics, or what they're called now, remote viewers, who were able to draw down on a piece of paper an exact replica of a structure or a building or a person that was thousands of miles away. One of my personal favorite remote viewers of the group, a man by the name of Ingo Swan, who we also spoke about, who, aside from using his remote viewing to gather a ton of data about our solar system that would not later come out until 20, 30 years later when we actually had sent our first space probes out. But he also did some remote viewing of the backside of our moon and is quoted as saying that when he was doing it, he saw what appeared to be artificial alien structures and bases on the backside of the moon, and it made him so uneasy after the remote viewing session that he didn't even know who to talk to about it. He also stated that while doing the remote viewing session, he felt that he was being watched by beings that were on the backside of the moon, almost as if these beings were able to tap into him, as if to say, hey, we know that you're watching us here. So that was a very fascinating and I'm sure creepy and scary example of what some of these remote viewers can do. And so if you haven't seen that video I posted, check it out. New documentary is coming. I'll put the links down below to the website and to the pre-order. If you want to go and pre-order it and check the film out when it comes out. It does look pretty cool. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm ready to interview this guy. I want to know what they found behind the dark side of the moon. So with that, and now let's get to some of the strange things happening around the world, the things that never stop, and the things that you come to Secure Team for your strange information addiction. And I want to start out with a few clips that were taken of what has been described as a massive piece of machinery, or a ship, or whatever you want to call it, that was spotted and photographed in the skies above Failsworth, Great Britain. And so we had a guy out here, beautiful day, snapping some shots outside with his camera, high-powered telephoto. And when he got back to look at some of the shots, he noticed something very strange sitting up in the sky, almost as if there was an object that was sort of fading in to our dimensions. You know, we've spoken many times in the past about how a lot of these UFO sightings and these alien-looking craft that we've seen in our skies could very well be jumping dimensions or going through some sort of a rift, dimensional rift or porthole that would allow them to momentarily cross over and go back and forth between these dimensions, sometimes maybe by accident. And so you'll get things like this, and we've featured many times what appear to be giant pieces of machinery caught up in the skies. This is one of them. And so you see the picket fence here, pretty blue skies, nothing too out of the ordinary. But when we zoom in right up to the top right area of the cloud cover here, you'll notice a very strange sort of V-shaped structure that definitely looks to have some structure to it. And dare I say, some very alien-like features around the object. It just doesn't look like the way we would put together something here down on planet Earth. And we're just going to go through some different filters here. The object appears to have light and shadow structures that are casting light and shadow. A very long sort of metallic beam coming across where it then cuts down sort of like a V shape, comes to a point that again was taken outside. So we're not talking reflections or anything like that. Snapped outside. You can see this V-shaped or L-shaped structure up there. And, of course, the biggest mystery, why was it sitting there in the sky and where did it come from? Now, with this talk of dimensional openings, I mean, scientists have already agreed that there could be potentially hundreds of dimensions sitting right on top of ours, like a pancake. And it could be objects have the ability, or again, accidentally, having the means to momentarily cross over. And when I was watching this, it reminded me of another similar finding that was posted on Mr. MBB333's channel a couple of weeks back, where he had detected something very similar circumstances, only that time the object in question almost looked as if you could describe it, well, I'd say a Stargate. And that's what we'll just go with. It looked like a Stargate of some sort, but again,
This beat is making me lose my mind. 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 My mind.
I'm getting in the zone. Yeah, I'm getting in the zone. Yeah, I'm getting in the zone.
Turn up on the weekend. Turn up on the weekend.
All this time, so hard to watch you go, saying bye, bye bye. Won't you say you'll be here by my side, down to ride? I'll ride with you. With you. With you. I'll ride with you.
Flights are on time. Everyone's out to have fun and to help others have fun. And when all the guests have arrived and have been introduced, the games begin.
Party at my house.
Part of a good party is knowing when to go home.
Party at my house.
Roller coaster. Moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster. Moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster.
Three shots got no